All right, we can finally I can finally play it. Yippee! Oh no! It's only 4 characters? Uh... Wait, why is Yi Sang here? And not Faust? Because the other 3 are the ones who got the new egos. I guess Yi Sang is John Limbus Company. Oh. I see. Ah, man, I don't have anything. Fucking go, my Yi Sang. Okay, let's see what my options are. Okay, so we have Spice, but I mean, okay, Ring Sang, and we can go Pregor. Do I have any bleed Honglu units? No, except for this one that's not leveled. So we're probably just gonna go... Yeah, we're probably just gonna go... this loadout.
준비
소재 원하신다면
빨리 시작하시죠.
This is my charge sinking bleed team. I was. Oh no, Dante's dead. Oh. Sense of cognition, itself a concept without form. Floats into... I think Rene Descartes would disagree. Floats into the shadow of an ever-widening river, swept up in its currents nowhere. When we ran into an abnormality. But Sod told us that Hong Wan's Lobotomy Corp branch could be free of any abnormalities. The abnormality, which had appeared out of nowhere, was more otherworldly than any we'd encountered so far in our journey, and deep blue. It was fathomlessly blue. It seemed to have a pull that endlessly drew us into itself. Ah, it's the Blue Star! Just kidding, it's the black hole on the cover of the event. Just as I was about to recall this abnormality, a myriad of sceneries and a flood of incalculable thoughts crashed into my mind like wild waves. Oh! Before ebbing away from its sort of wuthering waves. Gotcha game. I was already lost in a drift somewhere within my own consciousness when I realized this. Man, how did Ishmael do it? The sensation of my own consciousness floating away is quite the unfamiliar one. I floated around in that strange state for a while. Dante! It's Virgilius! No, just kidding, it's the Arknights person, because you can see that rabbit ears. Or horse ears, I don't know. Is this an Uma Musume? Are you Dante? From the Devil May Cry series? Yes. Fog of my vision clears as the voice breaks through the waves, and a concerned expression comes into view. It's me, Dante, from Limbus Company. Gregor, I think Dante has come too. So who are... I was about to ask further questions to the stranger with the particularly long animal-like ears, but... Ag. Felt the drowsiness coursing back with the terrifying memories of the dream, rendering me unable to speak. I have to get a hold of myself. No, Dante, don't crash out and set yourself on fire again. I barely managed to wake myself from slumber to get a grasp of my surroundings, only to find myself surrounded by more unfamiliarities. There was that stranger from her. I might be able to find one. Sitting atop a rock and silently taking in the sights. A young girl who probably saved my life. Wait, so were those animal years after all? Do you know Arknights? Or do I know Arknights? Not at all. Okay. Oh, you got 200 pulls and you got all of them? Nice. I'm 60 pulls in and I have none of them. So we're standing by the Iberian coastline. Oh, we're in Spain? A little out of it, but I'm okay otherwise. Iberia, huh? Yeah. Yes, we're in Iberia. Well, given that we're next to an ocean, maybe I drifted all the way to Eucorp's Great Lake? Iberia was an unfamiliar name, but that's all I had to go on, given that the city was still full of more unknowns than knowns to me. I radioed your colleagues when you briefly woke up earlier. They'll be here any minute. Wait, my colleagues? You must have run into the sinners then. The fog of my mind immediately cleared as soon as I realized that the sinners were all nowhere to be seen. All of my sinners! God! I think so. I ran into them earlier. They were looking all over the place for someone with a clock for their head. That was a pretty unique description, so I could tell right away that you were the person they were looking for. I did enjoy the update of a Persona 5 Fire Emblem 3 house. That is a wild crossover. Hubert! Let's go. Manager bud. I'd woken up to an unfamiliar place next to an unfamiliar face. In the midst of all this all-around sense of displacement, the faces that appeared before me were certainly a sight for sore eyes. Hubert is just Edelgard's silly little guy, the clown. Miss Rabbit here told me she found you unconscious by the ocean, and phew, I came here as fast as I could, and oh boy, I was worried that something bad might have happened. Glad to see you're doing fine. I like how Gregor calls her Miss Rabbit, even though he resents people calling him Bug Guy. Double standards here, huh, Gregor? Were you... He could have asked! Were you lost at sea? I don't know. Well, I do think I'm fine, though. I guess not having any way to drink water is finally coming in handy. You should... You should go get that checked out just in case. Wait, your head's waterproof, right? Gregor takes a moment to steady his breathing, and he mutters a casual quip as he lights a cigarette. Well, he doesn't seem that concerned. Maybe we're not actually in that much danger. So what happened? Where are we? Do you remember entering that lobotomy court branch Shichin told us about? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we ran into a new abnormality and got sucked into it before we even had the chance to do anything. Man, I really thought that was it for us, especially with you getting sucked in there too, Manager Bud. When we came to, despite waking up with our faces down in some ditch, we were all fine without a scratch, though there was quite the mess when we realized that you'd gone missing. Oh, Virgilius isn't here! No, he can't bail us out! We wanted to search for you immediately, but it took a while before we got a better bearing of where we were. New ships? I thought, given that we're on an ocean, and I was thinking of Azure Lane, I was like, ships as in like naval technology. So we're not at Eucorp's Great Lake? Some of us considered that to be a distinct possibility, but it's unlikely. Ishmael was really certain that we were not in District 21. She did concede that we might be in an unknown area within the Great Lake of the outskirts, but that doesn't seem likely either, given what the rabbit-eared lady there said. The outskirts region of the Great Lake. I've met all kinds of people from all over Terra, but I've never met anyone who referred to the Iberian Sea that way. You've never been to Michigan! Terra, Iberia? As I found myself puzzled by these unfamiliar terms, a very obvious question suddenly struck me. The city is Detroit! Speaking of which, who are you? Huh? Really? You fellows haven't introduced yourselves to each other yet? It's just that it's all a lot to take in. It's understandable. You did just wake up from a pretty harrowing experience. She is, actually, would you like to do the honors yourself? It's me, Abia, the leader of Rhodes Island. Rhode Island. God, it's Rhodes Island. Rhode Island. God, this is fucking with me. Seeing it, this is very close to Rhode Island, the state I'm from, and it's fucking with me seeing it in Limbus Company. I'm Dante, manager at Limbus Company, TM. I know I'm late, but thanks for saving my bacon. Can I just give Dante a big ol' hug? Just squeeze him to death. It seems that this Rodeo Island is a pretty big pharmaceutical corporation, but Gregor trails off ominously and scratches his head before continuing with some mild trepidation. This young lady with the rabbit ears doesn't know what the head is at all. As far as I know, there aren't any organizations in Terra with the same characteristics as one Mr. Gregor explained, at least not with a name like The Head. Also, sorry, it's Rhodes Island? That's fucking right. You put some respect. You put some respect on my home state. Sorry, Gregor's kind of bad with names. So, what you're saying is that we're not in the city anymore? It'd be weird for any higher-ups at these huge corporations to know less about the head than we do, let alone be completely clueless about it. Well, maybe we've tumbled into a previously undiscovered zone of the outskirts or the ruins. Probably. Or maybe we found ourselves in a completely different world. Wow, what a pie-in-the-sky idea, Honglu. If their conjecture is correct, we're in way bigger trouble than I thought. This wasn't like the time we accidentally stranded ourselves in the outskirts via a door in the corridor. Amiya stared at me with some concern as though she felt my distress. I think I can draw a connection to something else that's happening here. Really? Yeah, recently, anomalous signs and events have been occurring in Iberia ever since a mysterious dimensional door appeared at sea. Yeah, it's just the three of them. Where's Ishmael? Or no, wait. Where's Yiseng? Yiseng is John Limbus Company. I don't know anything about Arknights. Clever, do you know what the Arknights side of this collab looked like? Like what their story section looked like? Did they go to the city? Or was it just, and now Limbus Company is here? Okay. Yeah, because I'm not seeing anything about it. I'm really curious if they go to the city. Do I notice anything else odd? Well, Dante's head is still on fire, even though they got covered in water. And it's been said that this dimensional door is connected to something very, very distant, to something that we never observed before, so it seems reasonable to theorize that the dimensional door is how we managed to cross over to this world. Oh, it's a one-sided crossover? I see. I really would have appreciated Faust's input. Where'd all the other sinners go anyway? A bit late on the uptake to be gawking around for the other sinners now, don't you think? They're at a settlement near here, where they're all helping out with various odds and ends of the village, while taking turns searching for Dante, of course. But you know, I never thought about how difficult it would be to search for someone when we're like fish out of water, too. Man, barely got even a wink of sleep since yesterday. Everyone's gonna be really tired then, so... In a mirror world, right, it's yeah, in the first April Fool's event. So it's just you two out here for now? No, Ishmael and Yi Sang are the other half of the search party, and we just happen to be the last group in the rotation. They must be searching elsewhere to find you. We got the news early thanks to Amiya's comms gear, but the other team didn't. Yeah, we got lucky. The other team, well, we don't have any way to get in touch with them, so they'll probably continue their search until their shift is done. Oh, are we talking about that village you mentioned earlier? Have you not been listening? Your ears are fucking massive. How did you not hear? Uh-huh, right, you've not been there yet, huh? Oh, okay, I guess it's a bit off the beaten path. Well, we're going to have to rendezvous with the other sinners anyway, so let's head to the village for now. The Resident Evil village. Something seemed to pique Amiya's interest as she fell into a contemplative silence before carefully speaking up. I would like to accompany you there. Sure, I don't see why not. You helped us find Manager Bud, and more importantly, you seem to know a lot more about this place than we do. I don't actually know Iberia that well either, but I should be able to be of some help. What, did she get transferred here? Actually, oh, wait, this is fucked up. This is a question about the story I have that I can't ask you about. They've closed their borders and have practically locked out any foreign influences from affecting them, but I did get a briefing before the mission. Closed borders, huh? Then how did you get in, Miss Amiya? We followed Dr. Kaltzit's directions and illegally crossed the country border. Illegally? Oh, because they live in the city and they're like, oh no, the head's gonna fucking kill you! Does that mean you crossed the border without obtaining any permission? You're gonna get obliterated by an arbiter. No, but I'm just imagining, right, them thinking, uh-oh, that's not something you're allowed to do in the city, and something you're not allowed to do in the city. No, I mean, like, if you're, like, a robot. Like, because any human can go into the city, but if you're, like, going to the city illegally, that means you're, like, a fucking non-human. Which means the head's gonna take care of it. Yeah, well, you know what I mean, though. Is it normal for pharmaceutical companies to be doing that? Large pharmaceutical companies often dispatch their agents for missions. Yes, Rhode Island is in its essence. Buddy Cianci. For researching treatments for people infected with neuropathy, but we also work to prevent and assist with the management of various situations that can occur in high-risk areas. High-risk areas, huh? Wait, what are you about your companions? I doubt you came all the way here on your own. That's, we were forced to split up due to certain forces that were in pursuit. Wait, stop. Did I grind the MD for lunacy last week? Yes. There. As we stood about confused, Amiya noticed something, pointed towards the seashore hidden behind large and cragged rock formations. What are we supposed to... Huh? Oh, it's the character. There we saw someone wielding a lengthy greatsword. No way. Bickering with two familiar faces. Yi Sang! Ideal. Yeah. I like how Faust isn't here. It's like the three people who got egos and Yi Sang because he's John Limbus Company. You engaged Ishmael. Again, move. You're in the way. You needn't worry as you do. We have had ample experience battling monsters who are much like them. Listen, I'm not worried. It's... Come on, better to have 3 fighters than 1, right? Besides, you're the first person we ran into out here, so we've got a lot of questions to ask. Yi Sang, Ishmael, Dante, you are unharmed. It's me, Yi Sang. I love you, Yi Sang. And here I was getting ready for a 3 days long search. What a relief. We were all really worried that we might never be able to find you. We managed to find them thanks to help from Miss Amiya here. Are you two acquainted? Not a good time for a reunion. It can wait until after we take out the sea monsters. Scotty, are those organisms the Seaborns Dr. Calvin mentioned? They're sea terrors, to be specific. The less sophisticated ones among them. Wait, so I like how it's like a one-sided cross. Is there not gonna be like Limbus Company in Arknights at like ever? Or is it like they're waiting to do their half or something like that? Who knows? Because it feels like, as a player of Limbus Company, I wouldn't be like, oh, I want to play this other game. I would be like, oh, they don't have Limbus Company. Why would I why would I play it? Right? It's like, oh, these characters are like pretty cool. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to playing Limbus Company instead of picking up a new game. And they're probably here for me. Sea terrors. I hear the sticky noise of something viscous slithering against the rocks. It's mermaids! When I turn to face the origin of the unsettling noise, I smell the heavy, wet scent of brine. At the end of my gaze awaits strange monsters, unlike distortions, unlike abnormalities, unlike anything I'd ever seen. It looks like a flower, Manager Bud. It is as though the sea itself is encroaching upon the land. I was almost certain we weren't at the Great Lake, but I'm not so sure anymore. Her experiences with that thick scent of brine at the Great Lake must have put her in a wary mood, as Ishmael seemed to be a lot more apprehensive about these monsters than anyone else. Do you think those creatures could be whales or mermaids? I don't know. The Great Lake and the outskirts are full of unexplored mysteries, after all. Yeah, I mean, I know, Kim Ji-hoon wanted to do it, right? And it's like awesome, right? And good for him. But I feel like, I don't know. Dante, what do your senses say? It's unclear. I'd say the closest comparison I could make is with the whales, but even that's not conclusive. A tower defense game? That's fun. More enemies on the horizon. We should prepare for battle. Doesn't seem like we can talk things out with them, though. So let's take them out. It's a big... We're gonna kill them. Oh my god, it's so fucking weird hearing Japanese in Limbus Company. Wait, why are they all like arranged this way? Yeah. That's something I wanted to do.
점 찍었네. 조용히.
Concentration. Boom.
한결났네요.
Deal 100 damage for fun.
완성되었나?
전투에 임하겠습니다.
Go, my ring sang. Oh,
완성되었나?
he did.
너무 참. 한결났네요.
Oh, it's because I didn't have envy. I've been playing too much Mirror Dungeon. Oh, fucking. Oh, right. He gets staggered instantly.
집속불. 내가 충전. 이제야.
I have not done the Mirror Dungeon pack because I didn't want to get story spoilers.
조용히. 비뚤어졌구려. 점 찍었네. 완성되었나?
Mind Whip!
소란이 줄었네요.
What the hell? They inflict a status. Yeah, I did see that. I didn't read what it does. All remaining enemies have retreated to the sea. Good work, everyone. Didn't think I'd have to deal with anything remotely like this outside the Great Lake. You can say that again. It would have taken us the whole day if that Scotty character didn't occupy the other half while this rabbit helped us from a distance. As we were catching our breath after the battle, I heard a brief hum. When I turned to look at the source, I saw Scotty glaring at me with palpable alarm. Strange people who transform. And ahead of a clock? I guess they're both technically true. Well, it's nothing more than a theory at this point. I think they have a lot to do with the dimensional door we're supposed to be investigating. First person to comment on the fact that they have IDs, yeah. Nice to meet you, I guess. Cheesed to meet you. That's because only us sinners. Wait, how did Amiya hear them then? That's a great question. I've just noticed the thing that you were waiting for me to notice, Clever. What's up? No, I'm just wondering how Miss Amiya can seemingly understand Dante. Yeah, what's going on here? Huh? Yeah, it completely flew over my head that I didn't even question how weird this is. Their voice sounds like a ticking clock to me too, but I don't know, it's almost like I can sense what they're trying to say. What kind of emotion they're trying to convey. Oh, it's fucking empath stuff. The blue boy in Sinclair's past. But I didn't quite feel the uncanny sensation from Amiya that I felt from them. So she can read me kind of like how Virgilius can, I guess? Well, I don't think it'll be a bad thing. That's true. It's been a bit of a hassle to always need Faust or Honglu to translate for you, Dante. I like to know exactly how she can understand Dante, but I don't think we've got the luxury of time to sit down and figure this out. Sounds like a plan. It's not like we know anywhere else to go, right? Oh, and Miss Rabbit here will be Gregor. Fucking double standards, Gregor. I'm glad to be working with you two also, Miss Ishmael and Mr. Yee-sang. Took the words right out of my mouth. You've already helped us plenty, and you clearly know a lot more about this place than we do. The journey is long. Perhaps embarking on it ere the sun's fall would be wise. How long's the journey? No idea. It's not like we have a clock with us. I do know that it's not very far, though. We just need to walk along the coastline for a bit. Yeah, I did all challenges. But I did do a 15 floor run with my charge team, and I almost lost right at the end. Because it turns out counters are scary. at floor 15, they just instantly kill you. Oh, Dante can't tell us the time because they're not on time. Then why the clock head? I didn't exactly choose to get myself a clock-shaped head. Yeah. Oh, you just found a lunar memory instead of crafting it? Oh, yeah. Also, that run, I got 3 of the secret battles, which helped. I looked away from Scotty's inquisitive eyes, which were quite solidly fixed on my head. The coasts of Iberia are hardly good places for people to live. Yeah, I got 3 of them, so plus 24 power. Yeah, I found 3 of them in a single run. And apparently that's lucky. I got Lei Hang, Ricardo, and Papa Don. Ryoshu EX? V5. I don't... Oh, right. Oh, Ryoshu's X. Oh, okay. I see what you were trying to say there. Yeah, I did not get the Virgilius one. So how did people manage to build a village in a place like this? The monsters are called Seaborns, or Sea Terrors, yes? Well, it is true that they pose certain difficulties. They were hardly the kind of monsters with the strength to bring Scourge and drive out the local populace. Yeah, don't judge them based on that brief skirmish. He's just telling us to be on our guard, right? Scotty can be a bit curt, but she's not a bad person. Oh, it's just like Ishmael. Give Karan candy. Yeah. Scotty's concern only served to fan my curiosity, but something about her expression communicated that I probably shouldn't pry, so I quietly quickened my pace as we walked to the village. No kiss. No, I'm not. I don't know. I need more build up before I tell people to kiss. I need to see evidence presented in a court of law. Wow, thank you, Honglu, for being a broken unit.
임무를 완수하고도 미쳐서 처분당하는 줄 알았다니까요.
This hardly looks like a village. It's more like a Resident Evil. Doesn't seem like they've done any proper upkeep to the place, not in a while at least. They're really here, living together. Strange buildings tell the stories of former prosperity from a bygone era. Our steps leave no footprints on the wet, muddy ground. On it, I see a rotting sign marked with the name Faro Muerto. Right, because we're in Spain. I see. Everywhere I look in this village, I see evidence of long, silent abandonment. You don't see these kinds of abandoned-looking ruins often in the city, either. Well, yeah, there's always been someone or something out there waiting to capitalize on that free real estate, be it a syndicate or a corporation, and fix it up. Better than this, at least. So where are the sinners? Ah, there's clearing down there where... We were trapped betwixt a twain of great ships, narrowly, winds against our sail. Ooh, and that is when young Ishmael boomed her command most resonant. Say no more. I didn't even have to try to search for them. That unmistakable... I love Dante being a goober. Sonorous and familiar voice echoing triumphantly between the empty buildings. That's Don Quixote's voice when she's sharing her adventurous tales. There she was, standing atop a low podium like an actor on stage, regaling a group of people in rags with tales of our adventures like a traveling thespian. Answers, ye dogs! Orvan, 'tis the moment I, Ishmael, the first mate of vessel Mephistopheles, shall navigate... What do you think you're doing? Young Ishmael, unhand my mouth, for I was just about to regale them with the most fantastic tales of the adventures of the great Manager Esquire. Barely thou hast returned with Manager Esquire safely in tow. What? They found Clockhead? A burning clock for a head? When I was a child, I heard a story about a legendary Sarkaz with a flaming head. Why would someone like that visit our humble village? Well, their exterior may carry elements of that inspire fear in some. There is no cause for alarm. It's not the sun we're dealing with here. It's me, Marceau, the guy who hates the sun. Yeah, they might look like that, but they're Dante, our manager, and the rest are... Oh, hello. I'm sorry, who are you two? They're two very nice people who helped us find Dante. This is Miss Amia, leader of Rhode Island. And this is Miss Scotty, their operator. They'll be coming along with us for a little while. And with us? We believe that the dimensional door which we are at Rhode Island are investigating. This is something to do with why you suddenly woke up here in Iberia. As Amia is bringing the sinners up to speed. Ah! Villagers who were staring at us curiously approached us. Did our conversation manage to convince them that we're not a threat? I sure hope so. Are you friends of our saviors? Verily, 'tis quite the grand title, yet that is indeed the word by which we are addressed. To be more precise, by saviors, they are referring only to Faust and Otis. Faust gave me a light nod when we made eye contact, but I could tell that her lips were drawing a very, very subtle smiling arc. So I'm guessing something did happen. Oh, wait, Faust is probably cut off from Gesellschaft, if I had to guess. They were quite mistrustful upon our initial arrival. What business do outsiders have here? What if they're from the Inquisition? Oh no, what do we do after all we went through to get here? Laggy internet? Most curious. Streamlabs isn't giving me any notice. So it must be on... Oh, not in the IC. It's about the game. Calm yourselves, everyone. None of them are carrying what appears to be their scriptures or lamps. Let us first try to see who they are. Man, I don't think they're gonna trust us anytime soon. They're all old curmudgeons. Let's STNC and then PTSD. You can't do that, Ryoshu. We can't pillage their storage depots. It looks like they already have it hard enough as it is. I don't think CTNC is a good way to get started either. Should we just find help elsewhere? Just look at how thin their arms are. I don't think they're in any shape to help us out. Perhaps we could inquire as to our whereabouts ere we are to decide our lodging. Well, the landscape is certainly reminiscent of U-Corp's. but I don't recall seeing or learning about any place that looks like this. But I can't say I've been to every corner of U-Corp. Or PB. I ask again, what business do you outsiders have here? Their fingers are tightening around the grips of their weapons. Prolonged silence will most likely turn us into a hostile encounter. We can't have that. Hi, we're from Limbus Company. Fixers of Justice. Yeah, that. Fixers of... Oh, don't you know what to keep it down? Fixers? It's me. That over there, it's a ship blueprint, isn't it? Are you looking to repair a vessel by any chance? All these construction materials seem to suggest so. Chief, this does not concern you. It's not something a mere outsider can understand. Curious, I've never seen an energy source like this before. Have you run the test to rule out any stability issues? It seems to power the heat exchanger via some method comparable to the utilization of fusion energy. Have you any thoughts on this, Ms. Faust? The general design structure is somewhat old-fashioned, but there certainly are inspired parts to the design, particularly with the usage of the core energy source. But stability would need to be... He's just getting ignored. But stability would need to be further studied. This technology seems to be incredibly energy efficient. You identified all that merely by glancing at this blueprint? You must be the village chief, then. If so, I have a proposition for you. In return for assisting in their ship repair, we were promised a ride on their vessel. Miss Faust has theorized that perhaps by going out to sea, we may be able to find a way to return to whence we came. Does that mean we can find a way back somewhere out there in the sea? Nothing is certain yet, Dante. At this moment, we are working based on a hunch. A hunch? Sensing the implicit omen in her choice of words, I slowly turned around to look at Faust, who nodded solemnly in response. Let's go! Let's go! This is... Oh, yes! I love it when Faust can't access the Discord. We get cool characterization. We're really in a different world. Even her Gesellschaft has to be. No issues were encountered in the repair process. Faust smiles faintly as she looked around, then she pulls me in by my hems. She whispers in a low voice. My connection to Gesellschaft is currently operating at a suboptimal level. Okay, so it's not completely gone. But she gets to have... Faust is a homunculus, probably. Probably. But I like it when she gets to have her own personality. And slip free from the chains of her creation. So it's still connected, at least. Indeed it is. However, even exchanges of simple information are taking up dozens of hours by current calculation. Is this a warp train situation? Because we're in a different dimension? The cause should be identical. We have been connected to an unidentified, unpredictable dimension. However, Faust is aware that the pathway to our original dimension is yet to close this time, unlike the situation back aboard the warp train. So, to get back to where we came from, indeed, traveling through the pathway is the most feasible solution. And from that, you came up with the whole plan to repair the ship and sail out to the sea? Yes, well, I am also a genius after all. Hamiya conjectured that we probably came through a dimensional door of some sorts. Looks like that dimensional door might be what Faust is looking for. With high likelihood, yes. At least that's where a way back. I find myself calming down a little. Oh, speaking of which, when do you think we can wrap up the repair job? As fortune should have it, a majority of the most time-consuming parts of the repair have already been completed by the locals. It shouldn't take us more than a day or two to get its core parts shipshape again, Executive Manager. We'll be staying here a few more days then. How do you manage last night? Well, like I said earlier, we've been keeping ourselves busy looking for you this whole time. We took turns helping with the repairs and resting, but I doubt any of us got proper night's rest. Still, we weren't cold thanks to the villagers who kept the fire going for us all night. Us all? Not to mention how they helped us a ton with that local map they drew us. Oh, also, Chief handed us this earlier. What's it for? Looks like a sack to collect water. Give it here. I know how to get that installed. He must speak to repay Miss Faust and Miss Otis's efforts at repairing their ship, yet the service they provide us is certainly quite generous, even when taking the transactional nature into account. They're really giving us the best treatment they can, huh? As for food, we managed to fill ourselves with some cookies and bread Rhodia keeps in her pockets. Didn't want to eat into their food supply when they're already pretty tight, you know? She carries enough cookies and bread for 12 people. They did offer us some nosh with those dried fish things, but we refused. I ain't taking food from the needy. No need to concern yourself so much with our hospitality. You've done more than enough to earn your keep. I turned around to look at the source of that low, rumbling voice and saw an old man in an outfit that seemed to distinguish itself among the other. Isn't this the village chief? There you are, chief. Is there a place for us to stay the night? We do have places to shelter from the misty humidity, at the very least. There is an empty building there, so feel free to occupy it for the night. Ooh, are you sure? I mean, I don't mind sleeping in the streets myself. Hey, speak for yourself. I've been looking forward to sleeping with a roof over my head since, like, yesterday. You'll catch a cold sleeping in the elements in this environment, which is fine by me for the rest of you, but we cannot afford to have the executive manager or our honored guests suffer that fate. Honored guests? Yeah, I heard what happened from the four who left in search of the executive manager. I feel like, I don't know. I just really want to turn Otis into a marketable plushie. I don't think she'd take it well. I think it would be really fucking funny. I know she literally is, but like, you know, like turn her and now she's a sentient marketable plushie and she's like, now I'm adorable. God damn it. She would if Dante asked her to. First, I would like to begin by imparting my infinite gratitude to you for finding and rescuing the executive manager. I hear that you are a leader at a pharmaceutical company. This acquaintance shall certainly come in handy in case our stay becomes significantly prolonged. Just surprised by her boldness to say something so materialistic when they're standing right there. Can I stay in your village too, Chief? The village chief took a brief glance at the hems of her right wrist, then nodded. Welcome to Faro Muerto. You are welcome to stay for as long as you want. And please, do let me know if you find yourselves without food. Our food supply may be tight indeed, but we have enough to share with those who helped repair the vessel. Oh, you better not go back on your word later. I wonder what kind of local delicacies await. Dried fish like they were eating earlier, maybe? Hey, Chief. Just how are you surviving out here by the sea? Perhaps the question of how are we surviving may be somewhat misdirected. For we are only pursuing every possible avenue because we must survive. Chief responds to Scotty's perceived hostility with a hearty smile. After leaving some firewood for the night, he left. I'm going. Can't learn much more from here. Huh? You're going somewhere at this hour? Scotty, does this have something to do with the coast? You don't know what you're talking about. I remember what you said before we got to the village. Something about how coasts are hardly good places to live in. Dante wants to know if this has something to do with the coast? Do you understand the Aegir language? Aegir language? No. Dante, Scotty just spoke Aegirian. Ferdinand von Ayer. I couldn't understand a word of Scotty in the Chief's conversation because I don't speak Aegirian. It may only be that there were enough lexical similarities between one of the city's languages and the language Scotty spoken for them to comprehend the meaning. Weird coincidence. Huh. That's odd. I like how there's like a lot of lore. There's a lot of lore that we're getting in this event that's gonna be annihilated once it's over. Right? It's like, cool stuff. Angela already could do this anyway. Yeah, that's fair. You still have to tell us about it later. Please remember, you're not on a solo mission, Scotty. This is a team effort from Rhode Island. Scotty nodded lightly before leaping off into the night, out of our sights. Kind of worried. She's not the best with people, but she's pretty thoughtful. She'll be okay. Should we head inside? The sun's starting to set already. Oh, yeah, we can probably just pick an unlit building and stay the night there, right? Trying our best to ignore the mood that was starting to turn awkward, we made our way into a nearby unoccupied building. Aha, let's do a 10 pull. I have just enough XP to level up. Alright, we got nothing. What a powerful 10 pull. Yeah, well, when you complete the hard, it gives you the rewards for the completing the easy. But like the top, like in the top right rewards, it should be there. We walked past a few narrow buildings and remnants of the narrow buildings before we came across a hall large enough to house all 15 or so of us. Yeah, in the top right. Okay, now we're ready. With the curtains on the window removed, the smoke has an exit. Whoa, I thought we were doomed to shutter ourselves to sleep with soaking wet firewood and all that. I had no idea that would work. We just have to get a small fire going underneath it until the wood dries up and catches fire. The downside is being all this smoke. Clear that she has some field experience, unlike some fools I know. I shan't sit here and let her carry the burden of labor alone. Bequeath upon me thine ingredients, young Rodion, for I shall conjure thee a pot of special fixer soup. You're making soup with cookies and jelly? It's Don Quixote. Of course she can. No, you're not getting anywhere near the kitchen again. Not after what you cooked up last time. Is this a reference to Intervalo 1? Manager Esquire, prithee, let me cook. Well, I must admit a certain level of interest. As many of our fellows viscera are oft racked with an intense agony upon ingesting dishes of your making, perhaps it would be wiser that we save the occasion for a safer environment. Right, don't you remember? We agreed to leave cooking to Mur or Odie if we ever in a situation like this. Remember? Did we? See, I think it's become sort of an unspoken rule after everything that happened. Remember back during last year's cooking contest at K-Corp, they were the only two people who managed to get remotely positive reviews. Oh, does that mean we'll get to try Otis's cooking once again? Denied. We still have plenty of high-calorie foods like cookies and jellies here. I find no reason to do something so inefficient. I love that so much. She's like, cooking? We have protein bars. I'm glad to see that everyone's still energetic given the circumstances. It can't be easy to suddenly wake up in an unfamiliar environment. And Dante's like, it happens to me. This isn't the first time. Well, we're all quite used to getting thrown into unfamiliar places. Speaking of which, do you manage to reach your colleagues? She shook her head, concerned. I would love a crossover pick where they get sent to another setting and mess things up. They might have lost their comms devices, or maybe they ran into some other trouble. Could they be in danger? I don't know, but I'm sure they're okay. The doctor! The doctor! Oh my god, cave story reference? They're both more than capable enough to look after themselves. Long have this curiosity lingered within me. Thus allow me to inquire. Corporations are by their nature organizations in pursuit of profit. Yet the activities of your corporation resemble those of charity organizations, as opposed to a pharmaceutical company. Is there aught that might explicate this blurred distinction? Aha, I wanted to know too. How come a pharmaceutical company like Rhode Island is helping people? Oh, the doctor is just Dante, I see. Something about what Hong Lu said brings back unpleasant memories. The horrible experiment seen through the cascade of flowing tears in the face of suffering, the embodiment of greed that left a terrible wound in Hong Lu's fathoms. Pharmaceutical companies I've seen in my journey were corporations that, despite possessing the capacity to heal, chose to obsess over the profit it can provide. Yeah, K Corp, H Corp. I think it's just those two. Because they memory wiped Dante, but then Dante was like, well, actually, they didn't memory wipe me because I still remember. There are many in Terra who are suffering from a disease. The disease crystallizes you. It spreads deeper and deeper into the infected's internal organs, eventually culminating in their death. It's called Arypathy. Amiya showed me the back of her right hand, dotted by what appeared to be obsidian crystallizations. Its appearance reminded me of the bio-treatments from the Backstreets, but there was something more to it, something more restless, more sinister. It's a terrible, painful disease, but there haven't been any recorded cases of full recovery. But there's an even worse problem. Pray tell, what could possibly be worse than an incurable, deadly disease? Well, it varies region by region. Discrimination against the infected is widespread across Terra. Those who suffer from it must face unfair treatment. Yi Sang began with a dark expression. Some are quarantined in places with terrible, inhumane conditions, and there have been massacres too. I don't mean to be callous, but is this Arypathy highly contagious? No, there have not been any recorded cases of infection by contact, as long as the subjects are alive. But when the infected dies, the crystal growths on their body decay and turn to dust, scattering, which is what spreads the plague. Then, barring environments like active battlefields where casualties are to be expected, staying within close proximity to the infected in daily life pose hardly any risk. So what's the problem then? They're already past the point of caring about what the problem is. Once people start feeling iffy, all logic goes out the window. Then Rhode Island's has to be, yes, it is important to develop a cure for Arypathy, but I think what really matters is that we change the circumstances for the better and for the infected. That's not going to be an easy endeavor, though. That is what gives your effort more meaning. I hope that you can achieve that goal. Well, judging by the fact that Arknights is still happening, they haven't succeeded yet. For truth! Preach! Spit yo shit, brother, indeed! The city, this world. We both live in worlds full of surprises, don't we? What kind of world did you come from, this city? What kind of place is the city, anyway? This is the image? Kind of place with too many pointless rules. Kind of place where the moment you think, isn't this too much, you see something even worse. Try as I might, I couldn't think of a single positive thing about the city. Oh, hi, Hohenheim. Sinners seem to be in agreement, as most of what came after was quite scathing. Kind of place where good deeds rarely ever go unpunished, where sympathy's a good attitude to have if you like getting stabbed in the back. Nothing good ever works out there. It's a shite hole. It's an irrational place full of absurdities. Absurdity is an omnipresence. I learned this from Albert Camus, a studier of the absurdism movement. Therefore, it is not a subject by which one should be aggrieved. We can at least grouse about them, though. I mean, it's the only thing we can do. It would be more correct to experience more and acclimatize oneself to it instead of complaining. You did say something like that last time. Just as the mood was starting to turn rather sour, Don Quixote's shout shattered through the awkwardness. Verily, nary a day goeth by untarnished by villains and their fell deeds. Yet worthy not, for where evil riseth, so do fixers of justice to... Don Quixote jumped from her seat and passionately shook her fist, which was followed by the heavy crack and sound of small pebbles tumbling down. Don Quixote, watch out! Whoa! Oh. And from behind the wall, she accidentally broke down. An unfamiliar visage of a villager appeared and stared back at Don Quixote. It appeared that she was eating something out of a can while reading a book. How farest thou? Farest thy foot? You gotta apologize first. Laz seemed a tad too hyper today. Apologies, for I hardly expected the wall to crumble with such ease. Art thou unhurt? Any injuries? Two? Pray tell to what? Forget the apology. I just want to know what happens next. The fixers of justice rose up to do what? Oh, hast thou come to me to hear the tale of fixers? I don't know about coming to us, given how Miss Don Quixote was the one who punched the wall down. Ahem. Oh, is it too late an hour? I don't mind waiting till morning if you want to sleep. Nay, not at all. 'Tis quite early an hour for tales, in fact. Prithee, seat thyself here. You ungovernable fool! Calm down, we don't even know who she is. Holy fuck. Otis is spitting. And don't you forget to share those fixer tales over there in the corner to not disturb our sleep. Thou makest a request most untenable. These tales deserve to be announced to the world with great gusto from the center. Yeah, that's the best way to hear those kinds of stories, but we should probably introduce ourselves to each other first. Don is having fun. My name's Mares. How should I put this? Did you meet the village chief earlier during the day? He's my Gramps. Oh, that nice guy? He said he had a granddaughter. Yet, I have not seen you once, Miss Mares, under the sun. Oh my, you're right. I thought the village was completely dried of any young blood. Like Rhodia said, well, we didn't see Mares out there. There wasn't anyone else in the village we could comfortably call young. You're telling me. Gramps was worrying over nothing and told me to stay put inside. Going on and on about the dangers that the outsiders pose and everything. It seems that they do not give full faith to their saviors. There are things you cannot share even with whom you trust with your life, though I would like to know why. My, so there are a bunch of other kids who are stuck indoors in this village? No, there isn't anyone around my age in the village at all. If that's the case, I guess I can understand why he'd be overprotective. Anyways, it's our turn. We are... I'm good. I heard enough to get an idea. You did? Oh, pray, how didst thou hear us? By a listening device most secret upon our chamber? Mares tapped the side of the wall, part of it that was still standing anyway, and smiled ironically. Bad soundproofing. I could hear pretty much everything Don Quixote, right? Everything Don Quixote practically saying during the day. Also, that sounds similar to classic Spanish literature character Don Quixote. Barely, I see. Does Arknights take place on Earth? I think you could really do with some sense of embarrassment for once. Well, I guess that's good enough for self-introduction, so... Care to regale me with the tale of fixers who bring justice to the evils of the city? Indubitably then, aha, this shall do. I shall regale thee with the tale in which the legendary fixer, the Arch-Magnificence herself, the Red Mist! The Red Mist? Yeah, but it's like... Does the book Don Quixote exist? I don't think so. The Red Mist. Is that the Red Mist? I suppose that killed any hope for a good night's kip. But don't you usually pass out within a minute of your back hitting the hay no matter how noisy things are? What? Do you think take me for some kind of hibernating bear or something? Look, even I have trouble sleeping when there's noise all over. I love you, Heathcliff. I'd say bear in hibernation is a pretty apt descriptor. For all that grumbling and moaning, he dozed off before any of us did. Aside from Heathcliff, who began snoring the moment his head touched the ground, some other sitters were fast asleep as well. Rousseau had entered sleep in his usual steadfast adherence to the routine, while Faust laid claim to one of the few available cloth sheets as soon as the close of business for the day was confirmed. The sinners, who had spent the entire last night searching for me in this unfamiliar land, slowly began to fall asleep as well. Meanwhile, the fixer of the Spy Association's first section. Though the night was no longer young, Don Quixote was still vigorously sharing the tales of adventures without even a single sign of fatigue. Oh, that's, Camille. She's not determined to do this until sunrise, is she? Ooh. I guess it's okay, since Mayer seems to be having fun. I continued to watch the pair with some mild concern. Amia, not yet asleep, approached me. The city Miss Don Quixote speaks of seems to be teeming with fixers of justice and exhilarating tales of adventures. Did you actually experience all of them yourselves? No, of course not. Don Quixote's stories are usually those of other famous people. But she's telling it with such vigor that it almost sounds like she was there herself. Well, I guess if you really want to get into it, some of them might be retellings of Don Quixote's personal experiences. Ishmael replied uncertainly, thinking back to the plays we were made to watch back in La Mancha Land. Well, I think all those stories, even though they're only partially true, just go to show what a ridiculous place it can be. We wouldn't need fixers of justice to begin with if we really lived in a just world, right? A really good place to live would be quiet and peaceful without someone having to force it. Haha, that's true. I hope there will come a day when Rhode Island can be a normal pharmaceutical company in the future. Something wrong? No, I just thought Miss Mayers and I were made eye contact. Did you overhear our conversation? I looked to her direction as well, but all I saw was Mayers excitedly reciting to Don Quixote's tales. Whoa, what happened then? Thus spake Lady Otis boldly before the soldiers who stood in our path. Thou presumest to stand in our path, servants of a master most unworthy. I, Otis, shall educate ye on how manner maketh... When did this happen? This could have been any number of occurrences where Otis told someone to fuck off. Don Quixote was now telling the stories of Limbus Company's adventures in Hongwan. Oh, it was the Snake Hay Show, probably. Otis, who could no longer stand Don Quixote's unintentional alterations of the story, jumped to her feet and shouted, "Damn it, what kind of nonsense are you feeding her? I never said anything like that. Verily, certain aspects of this retelling may have been exaggerated. That's Tales of Adventures for you. Things are bound to get a bit dry when a story is told too realistically and as is. You know, nothing, not even anything resembling a proper record or a book remained once the profound silence swept through this village. So I've always had a craving for these kinds of stories. But Iberia doesn't stop Iberians from emigrating, contrary to their tight immigration control. Have you ever thought about leaving this place? It's still a challenge to cross the border, especially since we're going to have to pass through larger cities that are managed by the Inquisition. You don't seem particularly fond of this Inquisition. Why is that? Sinclair shaking in the corner. Because this village was formed by people who grew tired of living under the Inquisition's rule and fled. Sorry, but what kind of organization is this Inquisition? Sinclair, yeah. I know the writers of this game well enough that I'm predicting things right before they happen. You know, the Nagel and Hammer we saw back in... still don't know how to pronounce that. Cal W are the kinds of memories that are so easily forgotten. According to Dr. Calcit, the Inquisition is what filled the power vacuum once Iberia fell into chaos. That is, its inquisitors are the rapier and lamp-wielding protectors of Iberia's cities from lawlessness. That alone kind of makes them sound like good people, though. Yeah, they are, but they're the Church of the Deep. The Inquisition will go to whatever lengths to deal with the incidents related to the church that worships seaboards. By an organization that worships those monsters? It seems that cultish fanaticism is a plague wherever we go. I feel like people with all kinds of wrong faiths and beliefs are so common. See, the Seaborns are the ones that messed Iberia up, so following their logic, apparently it's okay for them to arrest anyone who seems even remotely connected to them. Are you saying that Iberia is like this because of the Seaborns? Those things from earlier? I guess they were kind of troublesome to deal with, but they didn't seem that strong. Anyway, it's just what I heard from Gramps, but the Inquisition executed many innocent people too in their crusade against the Church of the Deep. For those who proclaim to be on the side of justice, they seem quite fond of committing such villainy. It seems like a reasonable policy decision to me. But it must pose a clear danger to the daily lives of civilians. Yeah, I heard I was the only survivor. Everyone in my family died. You must have had to endure such a long period of pain. Sinclair saying that as he's like literally me. To be able to say something like that with such composure. For Iberia, their heroes will bring the land back to its glory days, but to Gramps, they were just oppressors making his life difficult. That's why we all come here, fleeing from the Inquisition's gaze. Yet, wherefore hast thou decided to settle at a place that is so, run down? Indeed! Yeah, I know, but it's not so bad once you get used to it. Besides, we managed to find a new path thanks to you guys. A new path? Well, it's getting late. Are they going to go through the portal? Well, it's getting late. Will you be repairing the ship tomorrow too? This place really has no soundproofing at all, huh? Good talk, everyone. I hope we'll get another chance to do this tomorrow too. After seeing Mares to her room. We haven't even had our fights yet, I guess. We were still up anyway, and I decided to lay ourselves on the hard stone floor with only a thin layer of cloth between it and our backs. A mysterious world that is neither the city nor the outskirts. But it seemed the lives of its people led were just as difficult as they were anywhere else. Oh, thank God, I can deploy my whole team.
주군께서 모이를 뿌리셨으니
Alright, let's look at support. Who has them? Faust. Okay, no. 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 Oh, right, they would have the symbol above them. Who else? Honglu.
준비는 끝냈어요.
Honglu. No. Alright. So let's look.
준비는 끝냈어요.
I can only equip one, so who else? Ishmael. Let's look. Anyone got a Gregor with the new one? Okay, there could be more people with Gregor ones equipped. Nope. Alright, no one's got the no IDs equipped. It's literally just Hong Lu. Everyone's got the Hong Lu one. I see. Well, let's just grab him.
군주가 나선다. 군주가 나선다.
Yeah.
자, 해골 준비 출발합니다. 각정류.
자, 풀 뜯을 시간이다.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's just not a charge unit. Yeah, I know. I will use 5 skills. Yeah. That's why I was sad when I saw that the new Ryoshu, which is great by the way. I love it. I sharded her and she's awesome. But how the new Ryoshu has her single coin skill, it says you can't copy this, and that sucks. Didn't know there were remaining vessels of this class in Iberia. Ah, I spy her name here. 'Tis called the Rebellion de las Masas. Revolt of the Masses, is it? A name very much mired in peculiarity indeed. Hong Lu chimed in that he was rather fond of it, with the size being about the same as the boat from his home. Well, Ishmael quickly jumped in to correct us that its size alone wasn't anything special at the Great Lake, but it was still pretty big compared to Mephi or the Indigo Elder's skiff. I thought it was going to be somewhere around Mephi's size at most. Are you sure you can get this ship fixed in a day or two? As I briefed you yesterday, the great majority of the time-consuming repairs had already been completed by the villagers. The extent of our repair efforts only concerns a few components within the vessel that the villagers could not repair, which shouldn't take us much time. Unless parts that are unfamiliar to Faust are also malfunctioning, such as the core engine, remaining repairs should be sufficiently managed by Faust. Despite Otis's confident declaration, I could not help but feel oddly unsettled as I looked at the ship. I don't know why, but something tells me that we don't want to linger here for too long. Still, please be thorough about it, just in case. I'd rather not sit on a sinking ship again. The experience of the Great Lake was enough. Do not worry, Dante. Unlike Mephistopheles, most functions of this vessel, buoyancy gear, propellers, steering gear, are all in operational capacity. This repair should be much easier than the case with Mephistopheles. They seem confident enough. It should be safe this time around, right? We taking that rope to climb up to the ship? No. There's a lift-like apparatus down here. It should take us up to the ship. Its stability was verified yesterday. Let us board the lift. You're 100% certain, right? The boat is afloat right now, Dante. I don't think it'll be sinking anytime soon. Wouldn't that be nice? Oi, are you two just gonna faff about down there? We're heading up now. No, we're going with you. So I made my way into the vessel's bridge. I was greeted by the extravagant interior that was as gaudy as its exterior. This isn't really real gold, is it? Sure is shiny as heck in here. I've got butterflies in my stomach. AS. Aesthetically satisfying, she says. Really? I did not take Ryoshu for a gold-plated girly. But too ostentatious. Not quite my style. There we go. Okay, that makes more sense. She's like, it does look pretty cool, but unfortunately, it's too much gold. Yet, not enough blood. Our young Mephi is also quite the excellent vessel, yet imagine the adventures we could embark on aboard this vessel most lavishly decorated. As Faust and Otis were working on one of the control panels, Ishmael walked up to another and interfaced with it before giving a knowing nod. This must have been an investigative or research vessel of sorts, but it does seem a bit extravagant for one of those, though. Look, coordinates updating in real time, it seems. Coordinates seem to have been set to somewhere out in the middle of the ocean. Maybe it points to a small islet? Nope, no islet there. Wow! Blimey, lass. You sure know how to sneak up on people. Haha, what? Did I actually surprise you? I did ask if you guys were gonna come fix the boat today. Still, I didn't know you'd be here. Oh, she's got pointy ears like an elf. Why is that? Why are the coordinates set to this location? There are several undersea cities beneath those coordinates, collectively known as Eyre. Ferdinand von Eyre. Gramps' home. I see. Understood. What was understood, if I may ask? It is now understood why the promises to repair this ship was sufficient to earn their trust in the title of saviors. What's she on about? Someone get translated. Consolidating and cross-referencing the observed particular circumstances of the village and with statements from the village chief, alongside information garnered from the exchange with mayors, it is possible to gauge the significance of the ship's repair as to the local populace. Of course, while this may constitute a sequence of logical connections, it poses a certain challenge for Heathcliff to comprehend. To employ any degree of effort to attempt to explain it in more digestible language constitute a pursuit of inefficiency. Lower the baton, I implore you. I shall explain it in full. I was wondering when Miss Smartass would start gabbing like that again, so what's she on about? Heathcliff's shoulders were relaxed. It didn't seem like he was actually going to swing the bat. He placed it lightly over his shoulder with a sigh. Oh, he's performing. A brief observation of the village seemed to suggest that their subsistence situation was quite dire. Much of the daily sustenance consisted of dried food, most of them made for long-term storage purposes. Considering what Scotty said about how the coastal areas are full of danger, maybe those dried seafood aren't from around here either. Maybe it's food they packed when they first came to Faro Merito? Some villagers were armed, yeah, and those sea terrors weren't exactly that formidable, but given the state of the villagers are in, I doubt they'd have an easy time repelling those monsters. Indeed. And that brings us to the question of sustenance. Right, I get what's going on here. The lass and her granddad are about to visit their hometown, and they're trying to get some food supplies from there to feed their villagers, and convince them they're planning to use the fact that they're from the same neck of the woods, or sea, I guess. Oh, so we're not just repairing their ship, we're repairing their food supply plan, too. Huh? What's wrong? It's, well, the expressions were rather crude. Heathcliff's summary of the situation was clear, to the point, and easily understood. The sinners stared at him with mild surprise. And I did too. What's with them annoying looks? Oh wait, you sods. You don't think I'm that dim-witted, do you? Top-notch intuition. It's just that it's been a while since you've shown this side of yourself. Yeah, this is very Harriet Earnshaw, by the way. After having read Wuthering Heights, it's like, oh, I have an insight into Heathcliff's personality now. Thinking back, Heathcliff's intuition's always been excellent. I've been saying this since Canto 4. And he'd often put together surprisingly accurate conclusions with impressive speed. You know, when you really think about it, it's kind of your fault for I've been too soft on you lately, haven't I? Oi, get back here. Now with those fools out of the conversation, was he correct? Otis looks away from the usual chaos and asks Mayers. Honestly, I'm surprised. He was on point. Yeah, food's been running low in the village. At this rate, we won't last another year. But the Eyre will, I'm sure they'll welcome us with open arms. I don't want to come off like I'm overly worried, but do you think they'll welcome the others too? Unlike Mayers or the chief, they're not Eyre. I believe they will. Tiberius suspects and hates the Eyre for no other reason than that we're from the sea, but our home cannot have fallen so low as to abandon a group of starving land dwellers. Prithee, might thou explain to us who the Eyre are? I had initially thought it to be a reference to a region, yet it also seems to refer to an affiliation of sorts. Maybe they're something like nest dwellers, though I don't think I've heard of a nest that accepts Backstreet's people with open arms. Maybe they used to be some rich folk? If they call them nest tossed ire here, then does that make the rabbit-eared lass ire too? What? Wait, in the world you came from, do they not distinguish between races? Wait, do you not have racism? That is not entirely true. Delineation between races is a concept that does exist. Though I only saw them in the Fathoms, there were those terrifying things called the cuckoo spawns. Yet no racism in the city because all the monsters are gone. However, as a general rule, it can be said that humans should be the only intelligent life forms in the city. Faust very quickly clarifying. He's just like, there are a few exceptions. People of Terra have slightly varying appearances depending on their race, like my caudus ears. And I've got pointed ears because I'm an Ire, though it's not a characteristic every Ire shares. The closest idea to what they are discussing appeareth to be, Don Quixote seemed to be struggling to finish her sentence. Marceau stepped in to continue. By context clues and the manner of word usage, including the means of classification, the closest example in our world would be blood fiends, similar external appearances to humans, different natures, comparable sapiens. It is of my belief that blood fiends are ostracized due to their nature that maketh coexistence with humans difficult. It may be that the Ire are also. I'm sure some of them do possess qualities that make coexistence with others difficult, but they're probably rare. Then wherefore aren't they made subjects of suspicion and hatred? I can't believe this. This stream is Don Quixote learns about racism for the first time. And oh my god. Well, the language is new, but the idea itself is pretty familiar to the city folks like us. Think of the feathers of fallen wings, kids born in the backstreets, people who replace their body parts with prosthetics. The form differs, yet in its essence, we find the thread. Something about how we keep finding these similarities in the ways of our lives, despite finding ourselves in a distant world with different rules, races, and humans. Felt oddly discomforting. And the point is, you guys are doing us a real solid by fixing up the ship. Let's move on from these gloomy conversations, okay? I want to show you the cooler parts of the ship. This way. The ship tour may have to wait. The repairs are almost completed, but an issue has arisen. Issue? Well, that's not reassuring at all. Multiple life forms identified ahead, assumed to be sea terror horde. The ship's radar system seems to suggest that the vessel is surrounded. They're the same monsters from yesterday. Executive Manager, please order us to prepare for battle. Damn it, are these sea terrors you encountered? They look a bit different, but yeah, probably. There's a lot of them, but if our last experience tells us anything, we should be able to handle this. Amiya, please support us in battle like you did yesterday. Canst thou fight, young mares? I feel like I'm just gonna get in your way. Then guys, find a place to keep mares as far as possible from the battle. Then let's hurry down there. You don't want them damaging the ship any further. Don Quixote learns about racism. That's messed up. And Lord Hong Lu is also here. They answer me, Pax. I'm afraid they won't.
충전 기능 점검. 단숨에 정리하도록.
Yeah, but he still uses this one, which is a strong move.
예사롭지가 않은데? 아주 작살을 내놨어.
딱 반쯤 죽여버렸고 13조 2항에 맞추려면 그게 제격이지.
Yeah, the Mao have haste though instead of poise, if I remember correctly.
앞을 막을 자는 없어.
이 정도 탕면
그렇게 시원하게 처리해주마. 보는 맛이 나는군. 일 처리는 빠르게 하는 편이
이 정도 탕류의 허덕이나.
골치 아픈 것들이 고기 조각이 되었군요, 단테. 나쁘지 않은 성과입니다.
깡총.
Mind whip.
첫 여정을 시작했을 때보다 정말 강해지셨네요. 매일 더하는
뭐가 추워라.
At least they have. There's a lot of them, but at least they have low health.
이제 그 도핑을 알아들을 수 없는 말투만 고치면 딱 좋겠어. 4번 수감자.
충전 기능 점검. 단숨에 정리하도록.
씹는 맛이.
That was a pretty quick suppression, not gonna lie.
내가 알아서 처리한다.
Limbus Company.
튀울 수도 없겠구나.
다음은 어디요?
Oh, there's only one of them left.
대가리 딱
이따가
떼고
버스에서 회고해야지 않겠는가?
Ryoshu, kill this thing. Oh.
내 죄는 내가 알아서 처리한다. 해봐.
또한
Most curious.
길을 남겼군. 핏물진 길일 뿐이지만 세월이 지나면 홍호는 그제야 알게 되겠지. 이 홍로가 무엇을 바꾸었는지를.
What? Wait, he's gone. There he is.
싱싱한 풀이 보이네. 뭐야 그 화이팅이다.
Oh, there's an upgraded one.
충전 기능 점검. 단숨에 정리하도록.
몸소 보여주지.
Oh, that thing has a lot of health. Like, relatively, I mean.
그래도 가급적
Man. Yeah, so I have my bleed team for next season pretty much completely gotten. I'm just hoping to get some egos. The Dawn Battle Pass bleed one, as well as
이제 그 도통 알아들을 수 없는
yeah, as well as
4번 수감자.
Contempt Awe Ryoshu.
공격권 확인.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없.
제압 완료.
Because that ego's really fucking good.
그렇게 시원하게 처리해 보는 맛이 나는군. 이 처리는 빠르게 목을 떨고 덜 답답한 거지.
공격권 확인.
바뀌셨네요. 매일 보아왔는데도 지금은 감회가 새로워요.
공격 범위 확인.
Oh, we got a load.
된다. 제압 완료.
좋아. 이번에는 제대로 들어가.
다음은 어디요?
내 죄는 내가 알아서 처리한다. 해.
Oh, Heathcliff, do your thing.
전투에 임하겠습니다.
고작 이 정도 탕류의 허덕이나 놈이 푸름을 틔울 수도 없겠구나. 고작 이 정도 탕류의 허덕이나
원더풀 선택이었어 나리.
놈이 푸름을
이런 건 몽둥이가 약이지.
내 죄는 내가 알아서
해.
처리한다.
Bam, bam, bam. Easy. These enemies are really weak. The remaining entities have all returned to sea. Is everyone okay? It's just like our last skirmish. Sea terrorists that had surrounded the ship returned to sea even before the battle came to an end. And their retreat felt too orderly and deliberate to be just running away. It's almost like they're making a tactical retreat. We're doing peachy, but what about the ship? Is the ship okay? Minor damages to the hull, but nothing will impede the ship's operational capabilities. Phew. So, I noticed during the battle, I might be wrong of course, but I think I noticed how around the end of the battle, those monsters were starting to go after the manager? Oh, yikes. They figured it out. Yoinks, we gotta get out of here. I noticed too, at some point during our battle, those monsters realized that it's the manager who's commanding the rest of us. I sense the very same. Their movements were fluid and adaptive, as though they were learning our behavior. Why does the Church of the Deep worship monsters like them? That ain't much of a question, innit? They've all gone mental. I'm sure they have many reasons, but Seaborns are beings of infinite potential, so much so that there's no superlative big enough to properly convey the scale. As organisms, they can endlessly evolve and adapt. Every time they encountered a new environment or a new element, they transformed themselves in other Seaborns. Maybe that's their draw. That fascination may be an attitude most befitting a researcher, yet the transformation of fascination into idolatry is, if I may be frank, not entirely positive. I find them pretty uncomfortable. They remind me of whales. Then can they adapt to learn a language to communicate with us? What? Going by everything we heard, I think they sound really smart. Bear's eyes went round at Honglu's suggestion. She brought her hands to her mouth, surprised. It sure was something. I heard that there was a Seaborn who could talk. If non-humans speak the language of humans, regardless of its testament to their intelligence, I can only think of two possibilities as to why they would. One, to communicate with humans. The other, to deceive humans. Oh, it's the Freerin demons thing. More often than not, it's the latter. What about distortions? Some of them already know how to speak. Distortions are phenomena in which humans transform into monsters. I like how Faust is explaining this for the fucking Arknights players who don't know what the fuck is happening. Therefore, that example is irrelevant to Otis's supposition. White nights and dark days. He whispered quietly, but as we were standing rather close to her, we all caught on to the hint of joy in her voice. The pillar of light in the city, did it really? How have you come to across this knowledge, Miss Mayers? Oh, ain't it obvious? We caught the culprit right here. The storyteller lass has been gabbing on with no end. Yeah, she's been tonguing non-stop all morning about all kinds of stories, hasn't she? Oh, yet I haven't gotten that far. You again? You didn't get so lost in your own stories that you blabbed all about our company's secrets, have you? Nay, fie, I would simply not. As Don Quixote was subject to yet another round of scolding, Amia stared out toward the sea, wary that sea terrors might start crawling to the surface once again before turning toward us. I wonder which of the two the Seaborns are. Their sense of self is really, really faint, so I don't think they'd be in either category. I think it's possible that they learned the human language out of instinct, but the power of speech might help them survive. It appears that you, Miss Mares, are quite the expert on the subject of Seaborns. Your knowledge of them goes beyond what the fear for one's survival may yield, thereby suggesting a different means of acquisition. Do you by chance worship the Seaborns? I don't worship Seaborns. Seaborns don't have any hopes or wishes, just desire for survival. Miss Maris, does that mean if Seaborns are somehow able to hope? Maybe so. Is that so? Hope? The repairs are complete. As we were conversing, Faust descended from the ship with a neatly organized set of tools borrowed from the village. Repairs completed. Guessing repairs are done? Yes, the ship is ready to set sail. Do you have a departure time and date in mind? I would prefer if we could depart as soon as possible. We don't have a set time or anything, but I think we should be able to set sail this late afternoon at the earliest. That soon? As you've seen, we don't have a lot to bring with us. Haha. By the way, how far out to sea do you guys need to go? We need to find this dimensional door of sorts. I could see the dimensional door's light from the beach at night. It was faint, but given how the light's strong enough to break through the sea fog, we should be able to determine its location somewhere around the coastal waters. So we can go back tonight? First order of business is to relay this news to the villagers. Yeah, back to the village for now. I see. Most curious. But I'm saving up a bunch of shards so I can shard a bunch of stuff for Walpurgis.
핏물진 길을
Yeah, I'm gonna show you what I've got up to. This is for Queen of Hatred Dawn. This is for Regret Merceau. And I'm hoping to get enough for the full stop IDs. Which hopefully if the hopefully we get no, because it's like right after this event. I should get a bunch of boxes from the fucking event anyway. So oh well. But what was I saying? Yeah. But then before the end of the season, I can get the egos I want by when they bring back Railway 1. And that should give me what I need. Okay, we have almost 500. There's something going on in the village. Yeah, I hear it too. I'm hearing people shouting and hollering. When we returned to the village, ship repairs completed, we were welcomed by a rather hostile standoff. Quick count told me there were approximately 20 people assembled at the village square. Considering its population, that was pretty much the whole village. Who's that over there? Inquisitor. Think we've been found. Oh, the Inquisitor, dressed up in a well-kept uniform, was about the same height as Don Quixote. The sword and the lamp hanging from her waist sits a dark contrast with the more run-down, ramshackle village. This is one of the characters who has an ego, I'm pretty sure, if I remember. I forget who has this one. It's not Faust. It's not... Is she not? Oh well. You almost look like a fixer from the city. Hong Lu is a different person. I see. So the Inquisition has discovered our village. Did you really think that you could forever stay out of the Inquisition's gaze, citizen? That's a naive dream. Fabius disappeared from the Inquisition mid-interrogation under charges of suspicion of membership with the Church of the Deep. Last known location, Salt Flat. The other Inquisitors have informed me that you have been identified next to pirates in its ranges. From a criminal to an outlaw, what a dramatic evolution of your career. But it ends here, now. Every citizen here, including you, will be accompanying me to the Inquisition. Not if Limbus Company has anything to say about it. Sick 'em. They have never broken a single law, nor are they outlaws of any kind. They are not like me. They have been disregarded the Inquisition's authority, evaded the gaze of Iberia, and found this sodden coast to lurk in. Tell me I'm not supposed to find that suspicious. What are you talking about? Sinclair! This is awkward. You can't just start arresting people left and right with a tenuous suspicion like that. You shouldn't. We only wish to live a quiet life, ma'am. Is that so? Then you might find yourself returning to this village one day, as long as you're telling the truth. Which is not an option for you, Fabius. Mares, was Chief really a pirate? Well, yeah, but as far as I know, he's been out of the game for a while. And even when he ran with the pirates, all he ever did was share Finby's jerky to villages. Or carry Igerians between them. Even if you're telling the truth, Mares, I doubt the Inquisition will be lenient. Well, what now? I have but one question. That Inquisitor, is she following the proper legal procedures? I don't know much about the laws of Iberia, but Dr. Keltz had told us that the words of Inquisitors were pretty much the law here. It is likely that she is following the proper legal procedures. The procedures are precisely what the villagers have fled from, after all. Then it is decided. Otis quietly dragged me to the side and whispered outside Mayor's earshot. Sinners who were right next to me seemed to have picked it up with a executive manager. He best immediately return to the ship, take command of it, and sail out on our own. It is unwise to involve ourselves in this conflict. What? Are you seriously suggesting that we just let him arrest the villagers? Didn't you hear what the Inquisitor said? It seems quite cut and dry to me. This is just standard procedure with no local laws broken. We are in no place to involve ourselves. Our best hope is to take the ship before they impound that, too. We can't do that, even if it is standard procedure, even if they're working within the law. It's not... You stayed up to hear Mayor's story, too, didn't you? You know, the Encorp Inquisitors were working within the law, too. When they came for the village, that was standard procedure, too. If anyone has stepped in then, I know what you went through, but I'd still rather not take a risk in an unfamiliar environment like this. I will try my best to figure out how to sail that ship. If I cannot, then I have faith in Ishmael to quickly learn its controls. I can't say you're wrong, but I don't know. Neither you nor I know anything about the ocean currents here, Otis. We can get the ship going, but I can't guarantee we'll reach the dimensional door without any trouble. Do you know anything about the sea currents in this region? Bad question. Not much, but I know the coastal sea somewhat. And you can't fight the Inquisitors directly here in Iberia. Fleeing with the ship might be the better option. What should we do, Dante? Do I get a choice? Yeah, I guess it's kind of awkward for us to just take the ship and go, huh? How about we try to talk to the Inquisitor, then? I think we should at least try to hear them out first, them being the Inquisitor and the Chief both. If the discussion goes well, we might even be able to get the Inquisition support. I don't get to choose, okay. Like Mr. Hong Lu, kill her! Yeah, I was assuming. I agreed with them both. First, let's at least see what the Inquisitor has to say. RR, Rabbit's right, he says. No, I meant the Inquisitor. Kill the Inquisitor. Are you certain that that translation was accurate, Sinclair? Right? There's no way Ryosha would choose anything other than violence, right? Idiots. It's because the other options are pointless. Inquisitor's seen us. We're already under suspicion. She will doubtless try to stop us if we flee now. So talk first, lower her guard, then attack. Pretty sure that's not what Amiya meant. Well, she's already onto us, so you shouldn't give her any excuse to attack us by running away. I was wondering what you were doing there, lurking in the background. A clock-shaped head? Are you from the Colombian Union? They're wearing a clock for a head due to reasons, but they have nothing to do with the Colombian Union. What's the Colombian Union? A great way to make everyone, like, if you say that really, really genuinely, you're like, what's the Colombian Union? They're like, oh, yeah, you're not from there. TikTok, what? Which language are they speaking? Regardless of whether you're from Colombia or not, you're clearly not from Iberia, let alone this village. You're not wrong, but I think there's been a bit of a misunderstanding. I'm quite certain you don't know enough about these villagers to stand between them and an Inquisitor. How long have you been staying here? 2 days? Buddy, don't just tell her that. 2 days? Alright, enough of this chicanery. Get out of my way, outsider. The attempt appears to have been made quite unstable ground. Please lend us your ear for a minute, Inquisitor. I am Amia, leader of Rhode Island. Yes, I'm aware of Iberia's closed border situation. I felt hope swelling within me as Amia began with confidence, unlike Sinclair. Alas, it was short-lived. Thanks to the Inquisitor's quick retort, I couldn't help but place my palm against my forehead at the exchange that followed. Oh, so not only were we dealing with outsiders of dubious origin, we have an illegal entry as well. That's, well, we had to, because the issue demands urgency, and I've been brief. Brazenly crossed the border, didn't you? I don't know how urgent that issue could be, but I doubt it's anything more significant than the situation at hand for Iberia and its Inquisition. The High Inquisitor is handling the Rhode Island issue. The High Inquisitor is handling the Rhode Island issue. High Inquisitor, activate the nuclear codes. Wipe Rhode Island off the map. Stay put and await the consequences while he and that chatty med doctor of yours talk it out. Do know that your treatment may depend on her negotiation skills. As for the village chief, I understand that you have the right to arrest him, as he is a fugitive who has fled in the middle of an interrogation and has been sailing with the pirates. However, it is an inhumane treatment to arrest the rest of the villagers as well. Inhumane, this decision is well within the rights bestowed upon the Inquisition. They've lived for years right next to that highly suspicious Ire. The Inquisition must investigate the rest of them as well to verify whether they have committed any acts of treason against our laws. This isn't going anywhere, is it? Listen, they've been surviving for years upon years by the coast without the protection of the Inquisition, and that simply cannot make sense. Oi, I think I've heard enough from you. Ain't it funny how you're blaming them for what is essentially a failure of your own responsibilities? And now you roll up here, only go, they shouldn't be alive. I'm arresting them all. What are you saying, these people should all be dead or something? I am. There's no other way to cut it. People simply shouldn't be able to survive in a place like this. Not for this long. The Inquisitor's reply only seemed to fan Heathcliff's wrath as he lifted his bat and began striding forward. Ah, that's it. Lass, if you ever so much as touch the tip of a single villager's hair. Please calm yourself, Heathcliff. But Hong Lu stepped in between them. Get your bloody hands off me. I've had enough of her. Continuing to threaten her will cause something irreversible. I believe you know that yourself, Heathcliff. What do you suggest then? We're clearly not making any progress by trying to talk this out. Excuse me, Miss Inquisitor, what do you mean that people shouldn't be able to survive in a place like this? I mean it literally. Even by some miracle that they actually do survive, they should be at least suffering from endless hunger, struggling to their wits' end at the inevitability of the calamity. But they look too healthy. The heck? Then shouldn't you be applauding them for managing to survive through so much hardship? I'm an Inquisitor. I'm not some crazy person on power high who goes around accosting and arresting civilians of Iberia straight to the gallows, okay? Because to me, from my perspective, that looks exactly what you're doing. I have more than enough probable cause to take them in for interrogation. It's just that I don't have the time or the energy to explain every single one of them to outsiders. I promise them a fair judgment, whichever way that may be, after a proper investigation. So stop it with this obstruction of justice. The Inquisitor brandished her rapier threateningly, her voice shaking with frustration. Dante, without the full picture of the circumstances, Faust advises against further antagonization of a local political authority. I agree with Faust. I get the feeling she isn't the kind of heartless Inquisitor that goes around indiscriminately executing innocents like Miss Mayers told us about earlier. I don't think she's anything like the Inquisitors of Encorp we saw back at Cal W. They were right. We didn't have the full picture of the circumstances, getting in the way of an Inquisitor who is clearly a rather significant political entity in the area, which is most likely a bad idea. It isn't the Inquisitor's job to handle your questions. Continue to obstruct me then. As the standoff was showing no signs of ending. Miss Mayers, I can answer your question, so for now let's do as the Inquisitor says. Mayers, who had been hiding behind us ever since we returned to the village, suddenly stepped forward. Yet, what of thy grandfather and thy villagers? It's alright. I'm sure this is happening only because the Inquisitor doesn't know. What do you mean you'll answer the questions? About the profound silence. Mayer's response to Otis was but a single concept. I didn't quite grasp its significance, but it seemed to surprise the Inquisitor. That's what they call the calamity that destroyed Iberia. Man. All of Spain gone. Spinning clock. Oh, that's a good sign.
충전 완료.
Decades ago, a great wave ravaged through Iberia. It wasn't long before the seaborns carried by the waves diminished Iberia's brilliant civilization to this. The waves, the profound silence must have reduced the village to its current state as well. Is there any reason it's called the Profound Silence? I knew a guy named the Black Silence, but that doesn't seem relevant. It's because the sea went dead silent before the waves came. Silence then claimed ships out at sea, and the cities of Iberia, then the Iberians. No one could say a word in the face of the ineffable calamity. Which is, what are you? No average Iberian citizen should be privy to any of the information you're sharing. And the Church of the Deep is really capitalizing on the pandemonium that followed the profound silence. They pretend to be Aya from the sea, delude the citizens of Iberia, and are sowing chaos in her lands. So that's why they're arresting the Aya left and right. I can see the thought process, but So it's understandable why the Inquisitor would want to arrest us. Dante. This isn't good. Sharing that seems to have some kind of taboo-like thing for the Inquisition. The Inquisitor wordlessly stared at Mayers. Her eyes were filled with traces of anger and confusion, but she's afraid. There was a fear in the face of a threat. Not the fear of the terrified, no, it's the fear of someone who's suddenly confronted with something they must destroy. The High Inquisitor once told me that should I come across an Ire who knows too much, there is a sliver of chance that they may be of assistance to Iberia. Cease! Thou art threatening the innocent with thy brandishing of the firearm! But most are seduced by the allure of the sea. Thus they are, with little doubt, our foes. I've got a bad feeling about this. Get out of my way, outsider. Final warning. Run! Run? Quick on the uptake as always, Rhodia slung Mayers over her shoulder and ran past the villagers. While the sinners scattered in all directions to distract the Inquisitor. The Inquisitor draws her firearm. And then amidst of all that action, Don Quixote rushed toward the Inquisitor without a moment's hesitation. Don Quixote? Thou shalt go no further. I, a fixer of justice, shan't abide by as thou persecute them. Forsooth, 'tis a battle delayed, not avoided. This clash is inevitable. Is that the moment of... In that moment of crisis, seconds before this could irrevocably make us a new enemy. Oh, it's the lady. A large obsidian crystallization in the shape of a monster burst forth between the two of them. Wow, who is it this time? Arc Knight's Faust. That's enough meaningless pickery. Dr. Kaltsit. Do you know her? Yes, she's Rhode Island's medical department's... Because they're both genius and smart. Shoot first, talk later, is it? The negotiations are over. From this moment onward, Rhode Island is now operating within legal capacity on Iberian territory under the Inquisition's authorization. The Inquisitor fired a blast of that firearm-looking weapon, but the monster summoned by Kaltsit managed to deflect it. And the cannonball thrown from the weapon punched clean through the wall of the building we stayed the night in before punching through several other buildings behind it. That was enough to instantly freeze the sinners and the villagers on the spot. That penetrated a building. Though their walls may be weaker than the head standard for what counts as a building's exterior wall, to punch through so many is... what a precise point it makes. Now's not the time to stand around impressed. It's a violation of a taboo to have that much penetrative power in a firearm. We're not in the city. Don't lose your heads over this. Taboos don't apply here. My head knows that to be true, yet my heart finds it difficult to be still. That is enough of that discussion for now. It is advisable we carefully observe and grasp the situation at hand instead of deliberating on a taboo the jurisdiction of which does not reach this far. Yeah, so the situation's gotten slightly better. If she's Amiya's friend, she's our ally. Besides, she's got some super powerful looking prosthetic gear looking thing too. Is that what you think? I apologize for the disappointment, but I am not on anyone's side. In other words, your particular denomination ally might not be entirely correct. Oh yeah, you talk like Faust. However, if I might define my allegiance, then let me inform you that the closest label would be that I am an Inquisitor Irene's ally. Amiya, outsiders. As much as you would like to deny it, the Inquisitor's suspicions are true. While it can be said that the process by which she reached that conclusion was unfair, the conclusion itself is without a doubt correct. So they're actually connected to the Church of the Deep? That is one way to put it. To be more precise, they aren't connected to the Church of the Deep. They are the Church of the Deep. Perhaps the village itself is the dilapidated church of their congregation. Our village? A church? Just look at our buildings. Where would we even congregate? Your thoughts, Faust? There are not many resources by which we may analyze the decision. However, the fact that Amiya's colleague has made the same argument as the Inquisitor brings the accused defense into question. Yet I can hardly believe that young Maris is lying to us. Hold on. You've been chatting plenty with that Inquisition or whatever. How do we know you weren't aligned with them the whole time? I see, you really are all entirely in the dark. An expected outcome, given all of you may be from a place far beyond the dimensional door. As fortune should have it, there is no need for you to know it anyway. Truth is truth unchanging, without the acceptance from an errant group of outsiders. Besides, Sue. I'm sorry, it seems we've mired you in this trouble. Ah, say no such thing, we shall not abide by as one such injustice is perpetrated before our eyes. The village has been already been identified by the Inquisition, and the Inquisition has even brought an ally. It seems unlikely that the words shall resolve this conflict. But we promise you, we will take responsibility for what is done. We have benefited far too much from your warmth and kindness not to do so. The village chief, with a benevolent look, pulls a dagger from his cloth. And I immediately knew what Kaltsit was about to say. Take responsibility, you don't have to go that far. Blimey. We are now departing for the sea, yet, as we cannot bring ourselves to leave you here, I must ask you to join us for this journey. Become our bloodkin. What are you doing? Stop! No, Sinclair, don't become a blood fiend. The unanticipated, or perhaps I was simply in denial of this rising dread, ambush did not end there. Oh. Damn it, the Inquisitor was right. No, Briseau! How could you let this happen? You're so awesome! The villagers suddenly began shanking the sinners with weapons they had concealed in their clothes. And it seemed that they were coming for me as well. Ah! Amiya, on your left. Amiya materialized a black ribbon-like apparition, parrying away the dagger flying in my direction. But another villager rushed in, taking advantage of the opening. Ow! The charging villager's back made a visceral, crunchy noise. Someone flung them away. Didn't mean to be this late. Scotty, let me catch you up to speed. I know the situation. This fishy smell is what I was went to investigate earlier. What about the sinners? Unlike Amiya and I, who managed to survive the initial ambush, the sinners weren't doing so hot. No, all my sinners! Gone! At least we had a silver lining in that the Inquisitor and Khalid's quick understanding of the situation and the subsequent retaliation led the villagers away from the sinners. How? I didn't notice any hostility or aggression. What an odd thing to say. Why would we hold any animosity against you? Why would we intend to kill you? We are not trying to hurt you, we're simply trying to give you a form better suited for the sea. Until we were obstructed. I apologize for our unfamiliarity has caused you trouble, Inquisitor. I won't make a big stink about what happened. What's truly unforgivable is that the heretics tried to take advantage of the ignorance of outsiders to flee the Inquisition. And even if you are outsiders, any lives lost on the Iberian soil are my responsibility. It's my fault. I'm sorry I came to this. Huh? Wait, lives lost? We're still alive, you know. We can shake off a stab wound like... This is most unfortunate, outsider. Huh? What? Your friends are either going to die or turn into seaboards. The daggers that stabbed them were laced with the flesh of sea terrors. Once that happens, most die, and the survivors become overwritten by their cells, becoming nothing more than another sea monster. What? That's not a very big deal. Everyone was acting like this was it for the sinners, but hey, I should be able to deal with this by turning back the clock. It's not that bad. My only concern is that I didn't know what would happen if I tried to bring them back after they're fully transformed into seaborns. The Golden Bell helped deal with the whale's palletification effects, but I had no idea how it would interact with seaborn transformations. We should just kill them before they turn. I know this must be very hard for you, but for... What? Sorry to bother you with this, but can you kill them? And preferably in the least painful way, you know? Oh, sorry. Was the last part kind of too much to ask? Wait, don't give up already. If we bring them back to Rhodes Island, we should be able to do something to help them. How should I explain this? Guys, can you... Dante, I know what you mean, but I just can't right now. My strength has rapidly deteriorated since the ambush. It's kind of tingly too, so maybe they use some kind of paralytic cocktail? Just trust me on this one time. I can assure you that I'm not just giving up on them. But, Amiya, can you understand the outsider's speech? Yes, it's just that they're making a pretty difficult request. They want me to kill all their friends before they transform into seaboards. Okay. And before we even knew it, Scotty had already decapitated the sinners, none of whom resisted. Amiya seemed to have been taken aback by how fast Scotty jumped into action. What are you doing? Scotty, don't let this spook you. This is just how we roll. I love you, Dante. Amiya, kill my friends. The clock turns. The decapitated heads creep towards the headless torsos, connecting with the threads of blood. The sensation is that of reversal. It feels as though sinners and I are severed from the rest of the world. Rewind. Oh, right. This is for the Arknights players who don't know. This pain is multifold worse than the sensation of a straightforward decapitation. The pain is in the heart. A deep, crushing isolation. Their wounds are disappearing. Resurrection, metempsychosis, or time reversal. Puzzling. I have no knowledge with which to interpret this technology. The cause seems to be that the pain is transferred to the one who rewinds. But that seems too small a price for such great power. the discussion of whether this can be categorized as power should be explored later. I couldn't stop shaking. All my limbs were trembling from the icy solitude. Still, I took a moment to collect myself and ordered the sinners. I don't know just what they were thinking, but we should be able to find out once we take them down. You dare deceive the executive manager and try to take their lives? Prepare thyself, for thou shalt now pay the price in making a mockery of justice. Yeah, we can't just let this slide, you know? How unfortunate. I had high hopes that all of you would become fine bloodkins, not blood fiends. Don is already a blood fiend. I don't know how that would work.
가서 할 수 있는 건 다 해보고 오라고. 저거 다 한 주먹거리도 안 되는 놈들이니까.
Yes. But I can just do this.
머리가 다른 사람들은 모두 정신 괜찮나요? 빨리 시작하시죠.
Well, that's fun.
어떤 상황이 닥쳐도 포기하지 마세요.
I like how they're like, well, that's fucked up. When people in the city are like, well, the head isn't killing them, so it's probably fine.
짐승들의 재갈을 풀겠다. 몸소 보여주지.
This guy is fucking cooked. Unless I roll all tails, what the hell?
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없진 않았군요. 딴데 적합한 조치.
실력 최대치.
다들 첫 여정을 시작했을 때보다 정말 강해지셨네요. 매일 보아왔는데도 지금 감회가 새로워요.
Oh, this isn't an attack. Oh, wow. He actually clashes pretty well. Ah, neutral's fine.
짐승들의 재갈을 풀겠다.
본인이 방금 뭘 본 것이야? 엄청나게
I can't believe you let them live. This is so fucked up. Why would you do this? Well, at least Heathcliff's gonna kill, probably.
날 뛰어보라고.
Yep. What a good fucking ability.
이항에 맞추려면 그게 제격이지.
예사롭지가 않은데? 아주 작살을 내놨어.
나는 언제나 달려나갈 준비가 되었어.
대가리 딱 떼도
I don't think I have to be too pressed about this battle.
넌 푸름을 틔울 수도 없겠구나.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is almost 12. I'm probably gonna do the same. I'm probably gonna play at least, I don't know. I'm hoping to... Otis, what the hell is wrong with you? I'm hoping to finish this week.
저기는 땅에 떨어졌네. 이제 우리를 누가 막겠는가?
Soda!
충전 기능 점검. 단숨에 점령.
날 뛰어보라고.
I'm losing your fucking glasses.
소란이 줄었네요.
Welcome to Charge City, and also Hong Lu is here.
하나 눕혔네. 이렇게 눕혀가다 보면 어느새 끝나는 게 싸우는 거지.
Have we activated? Oh, I need a third. Okay, and that gives me the one charge I need to activate Rift's face.
화끈한 계획이라도 생각난 거야?
공격 범위 확인.
Oh, if we hit that one coin flip we missed, we could have staggered him. No, he's staggered anyway, so.
기쁨이란 건 이런 사소한 일에도 슬며시 따라오나 봐요. 모두가 노력한 덕분에 업무가 일찍 끝날 것 같은 지금처럼 말이에요.
전투에 임하겠습니다.
That was some considerable damage. Okay, this should kill.
전부 찢어버리겠네.
Maybe not? Oh, just barely.
여기서 이런 공격이
Whatever.
잘못되는군요.
We killed the boss. Oh, no, this guy's alright. This
전투에
guy still wants to
임하겠습니다.
tussle even after his boss is gone and he has 10 HP.
죄는 내가
Ryoshi,
알아서
kill that guy.
해.
Wait, I think they're heading to... He's running himself into a dead end. Are they seeking refuge at sea? Wait, that's where the ship is. That's where they're headed. They're trying to board the vessel. Losses. Wait, but we never told them the ship was repaired, so how? Ain't it obvious? The whole village is in on it. It ain't a surprise that they'd send someone to spy on us, or they'd know a way to get the ship floating even in its broken state. Vessel. Masas? Revellion de Masas. The ship that is moored at a port in that direction. Wait, it can't be. Irene, who was preoccupied with battling the rest of the followers of the Church of the Deep, who were in hiding, quickly gave chase. But Fabius and the villagers were already aboard the repaired ship, slowly departing the harbor with a horde of sea terrors between us and them. How can a vessel of that size become operational this fast? The exterior, the name, it must have been constructed during the golden age of Iberia. But how are we supposed to chase that? What if we built a raft and rode after them? Mate, come on. Sea's full of sea terrors. It won't get very far before it sinks. Do you see something, Amiya? You keep looking in that direction. Oh. The village was left empty with a nary a sign of people ever having been there, as though this getaway had all been premeditated. Leaving only Mayers.
또 한 줄 길을 남겼구나. 핏물진 길일 뿐이지만
Okay. Well, we're halfway through, so.
홍호는 그제야 알게 되겠지.
How
이 홍로가
much do I have? 650.
무엇을 받고
So by the time I complete this, I should be able to get this. I see. Well, I think that's it. Let's see. That's it for today. And good night. I'll probably see you later this week for more Limbus Company. And then maybe, probably next week, we'll get back to Library of Ruina. All right.